Hello, I'm Chris. Welcome to my reading corner. Hope you're doing well. This is a video of what I've currently read, what I'm currently reading, and also some pickups from the library and some pickups from a couple of places as well. First of all, what I finished recently, I read The Forest of Wool and Steel by Natsu Miyashita. I gave that 4 stars, and it's about Tomaru, who listens to a piano in school, and then he decides he wants to be that a piano tuner is tuning. He decides then to follow this path of becoming a piano tuner, and the story's about that, and who he meets on the way, and stuff like that, and how hard he finds it. Piano tuning is not something I know about. Piano music isn't much something I know about either. But I did enjoy this book. I found it interesting. It was a lighter read from what I've read recently, like from No Longer Human, and a couple of others on this list as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed that, and it was, like I say, it was quite an easy read compared to some of the other books I was reading as well. And then I read Human Acts by Han Kang, and it's Dong Ho is killed, which happens quite early on, and then it kind of goes through a story of interconnected chapters of the victims and the grief stricken, and it was a really hard, difficult read. You know, it was hard to read because of what people were going through in the novel, but I definitely recommend that as well. If you've read The Vegetarian as well, I definitely recommend that. And then I finished Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata, which I actually read in one day. I just couldn't put the book down. I just started it in the morning and read it all day until I finished it. And it's about Kiko. Now, in the earlier chapters, Kiko does a few weird things that wouldn't be classed as normal in society, really. And then she kind of becomes a convenience store woman. She basically works in a convenience store, and then she kind of decides that is how I'm going to be. And then she kind of picks to be like different people. It's quite how much she tries to fit in is because anything else, because of the previous things she did that didn't bode well in society. She kind of like just makes sure she fits into this convenience store, and then she works there for a while, longer than anybody else, and then it's kind of that story, and it's an interesting read, and it's hard to read when somebody has to struggle to fit in because of who she was originally, didn't fit in with society. But I think you should always be yourself. That was that was a hard read as well because of that's not fitting in and stuff. Then I read Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. She's in Japanese Breakfast. Sorry, that was a difficult read. It's about her mum who gets cancer, and it's a story of their relationship, what's expected of her. Michelle Zauner's half Korean, half American, so a mother is the Korean side's very strong on discipline but like it was just such a hard read because the book, I don't want to go too much into detail because I want to do a review about this book, so that's why I'm trying to keep it brief, but some of the details it goes into is really interesting. Like you see a lot of the Korean side, like the Korean food, the Korean like family, how the family dynamics, and so that side's really interesting. But then I was reading it on the bus and I had tears because it's just a hard read, and it wasn't like what upset me about the book wasn't what I expected would, but from reading it and understanding her mother's relationship with Michelle, didn't expect the bit that made me cry. But I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything. If you like Japanese breakfast, if you want to know more about Korea and also it's interesting that way, but be warned, it is quite an upsetting book anyway. Well, I found it so anyway, and I'd say it's probably the first book that's made me cry, so take that with a pinch of salt, or take that as however you want anyway. But yeah, I definitely recommend that. Out of the four, that one, definitely. Crying in H Mart, absolutely. Just make sure you got your tissues ready. So, I'm going to carry on with what I'm reading now. That's what I'm currently reading. I'm still working my way through The Paper Men Agree and Other Stories by Ken Liu. I'm on, let me see how many stories I'm in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm on the 7th story in this now, so I'm working my way through. You can see I'm a chunk through it anyway, but I'm enjoying it, so I'm not in no rush to finish it. But like I say, I just read them through when I've read a novel, so. And also Broken Stars as well, again by translated by Ken Liu. Quite far in this actually, because it was like a longer story, so I'm about 200 pages in this now. So, but the next one is The New Year Train by Hao Jinfang. I think it's only a short one, that, but yeah, looking forward to that as well. So I'm just going to keep ploughing through those. Then I've got What You Are Looking For Is in the Library by Miyochiko Ayama. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm only about 25 pages into this, but I plan on, after this video, sitting down and just reading as much as I can of it, because it seems like a really light book, but quite interesting. So far, we've got a character, I'm not sure of her name, let me just find out. So, Tomoka, I'm not sure if that's right. She's works in a woman's wear shop, like a clothes shop basically. That would have been easier to say, wouldn't it? So she works in a clothes store, and then she wants to do a computer course, and then she gets sent to the library, and then they get, she gets recommended books basically, and that's as far as I've got, but that's, like I say, that's the first 25 pages, so I'm not really spoiling anything there, but I think it's going to be quite a good book, this, and I'm looking forward to reading more of it later. It's better. So I'm going to carry on now with what I recently got from the library. I've still on the Asian theme. I think all these are Asian themed, yeah. So I'm going to go through it. This is what I plan on reading next, which is another Sayaka Murata book, which is Earthlings. So I'm looking forward to reading this after reading the other one. I'm not too sure what it's about, but I fancy reading that next anyway. Then I have The Guest Cat by Takashi Harade. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, but there it is. This one is due back sooner rather than later from the library, so I thought I'd read this next. It's only about 140 pages, so that's why I picked this one after Earthlings. I just fancied reading it after enjoying Convenience Store Woman. Then I've got Silence by Shusaku Endo. I really fancy that. I love the cover. I love more stark covers, basic not basic, because I don't think any covers, like, I couldn't draw that, but like just simplicity I think for covers is brilliant. So I'm looking forward to reading that. That's probably after The Guest Cat, and then the rest are in no order at all. This is The Plotters by Unsu Kim. Again, I don't know much about many of these, so I'm just been picking them up as I've been getting recommendations online. And this is the Owasawa Murders by Riko Onda, which looks really good as well. Actually, this will come sooner rather than later, because I just, again, love the cover, how simple it is, the girl with the back and then the flower. I just think it's just simple, it's just perfectly simple, and I love that. Again, Zekadon Murders, again another simple, I say simple, I just think it's just, there's not too much going on, but there's enough. Like the rubber glove looks interesting. So that's by Yukito Ajatsu or something like that. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing these right, but that looks good as well. And I've got a Haruki Murakami book, What I Talk About When I Talk About Running. I've heard this is quite interesting, really. I know some people find Haruki Murakami hit and miss, or find him a bit, I'm trying to think of the right word, a bit like controversial, I suppose is the right word, for want of a better word. But I mean, I've only read Norwegian Wood, and it's one of my favourite books, and it's one I want to reread sooner rather than later. But I picked this one up because I think out of all these books, this would probably be, I think it's a bit of a memoir, but I imagine it's quite interesting. But it's probably not one I would pick up soon. I'd pick up his novels before I'd pick up this, so I thought I'd borrow it from the library. And then only got two more from the library. How Do You Live by Genzaburo Yoshino. How Do You Live? That looks interesting. This is supposed to be a good book, but again, don't know anything about it. Not delving too much into any of these. Just going to basically pick them up and start them. And then Bullet Train by Kotaro Isaka. That's Bullet Train. I'm looking forward to reading that as well. So that's the final book. But just a quick, I am currently reading What You Are Looking For Is in the Library. I'll probably read that next. Earthlings by Saki Murata. The Guest Cat by Takashi Hiraide. I'm not sure. And then Silence by Shusaku Endo, which looks interesting. And then also I picked some stuff up from I live near a town called Bury, and my mate's dad runs a bookshop stall. I usually go pick up Richard Lehman books, which is a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. But I went on the other day and I wasn't really looking for anything. I was looking for Cold Granite by Stuart McBride, but he didn't have that. So then I was just having a nosy, and then I picked up Cocaine Nights by J.G. Ballard. I don't know much about this. I just love the silvery cover. I think I've got a J.G. Ballard somewhere. No, I can't see it now. But I've got a J.G. Ballard I've not read, but I just saw the cover and thought, well, it just stood out, the silver. So I thought, he does, books are half price unless they're second hand, and then they're £2 each. So I paid £2 for that. And then off the same stall I read a China Medieval book recently. I'm not sure what it was called. It was just a novella. I didn't really understand what was going on. I think I probably need to read it again. But I decided to pick up The City in the City because this sounded really interesting. So I'll probably read this sooner rather than later as well because this sounds really good. But I'm trying to finish what I've got from the library first before I carry on reading my books. And then today in a charity shop near me, I picked up a few books. It was 4 for £1, so I picked up 3, and then this was my 4th one, so I'll show you this one first because I'm not sure about. I've not read this author, David Baldacci. Memory Man. This is his Amos Decker thriller. I'm into getting into more crime and thrillers and stuff, so I thought basically 4 for £1, so this is basically 25 pence. So I got that. Quite into World War II fiction, and I saw this. Tank, 40 Hours of Battle, August 1944, Kent Out. So I like the silver of it. Simple cover, bit of silver, a tank, but it looks quite interesting. Anything World War II is right up my street, so I'm trying to build a bit of a collection of World War II books and stuff, so I'm probably going to read that in August actually, because I think that would be a perfect month to read that. And then finally, I got 2 more books because it was 4 for £1. I got The Passage by Justin Cronin. Again, don't know anything about this. I just love the cover again. Simple, but it looks interesting anyway. But I've found out that, and also The 12 by the same author. So I've got The 12 and The Passage. But this is a trilogy, but I'm not sure the 3rd one's called. But I'll have to try and. I'm not getting the 3rd one till I read these. It's quite chunky books, but again, just love the covers. And I thought, I didn't realise it was a trilogy until I looked after, and it's a trilogy. So, but I really fancy reading these because these look really interesting. So that's everything I've recently picked up. What I'm reading. I just thought I'd do a video. I have been tagged in a few tags that I've not done yet, and I've been recently tagged by Tristan as well, so I'll probably try and get some tags done tomorrow to upload Tuesday. I think I've got 2 by Tristan. I've got a couple, maybe 1 or 2 by Pat, and also 1 by basically Nedda. If you don't follow, I'll link the channels down below, and then if you don't follow them, go and give them a watch. But I will leave it there, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.